Well, a civil society organization, Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, is advocating for strategies to strengthen inclusiveness through constitutional and electoral reforms. The group is pushing for more representation of women, youths, people with disabilities, and other misrepresented groups in the political space.
Sustainable development that we seek can only be strongly grounded in a good democracy, as I said earlier, but not just any kind of democracy. When you come to think about it, it's a democracy that is firmly underpinned by the principles of inclusivity.
They need to meet both the leadership and members of the National Assembly one-on-one advocacy and convince them to take the necessary line. From my experience in the past 2 years in the National Assembly, I know that many of them are swayed by evidence-based argument and reasoning. And from what I've seen so far in the constitutional review process, it is likely that we will make some fundamental changes that will alter the political engineering of Nigeria.
Oscar Obi, member of APC Progressive Youth Movement, he joins us now in the studio. Glad to have you join us, Oscar.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Where do we start this discussion? I don't know. All right. I am learning that APC as a party wants to transition and get the youths to begin to carry on with the affairs of the party. How are they doing this? How are they going about this?
Okay, thank you. APC is the political party in power, especially at the federal level. And I'm sure you must have heard several times, unlike the past presidents. I'm sure you must have heard from our president, President Muhammad Buhari, where he has said categorically that he's supporting young people to come forward to seek their rightful position in the political space, that he's ready to give his support, unalloyed support, to young people in achieving this. So on the strength of that assertion and that assurance, young people in the party, having identified, the critical ones among them, there are vast young people in the APC, of substance. So they are not coming together, premising this effort on the promise of the president to see how they strategically take their rightful position in the political space, okay, especially so starting from the party structure.
You're confident then that the president and, of course, the APC leadership has the political will to hand over the baton of leadership to the Nigerian youth. But the question is, how can the youth actually reshape political participation in Nigeria? In what way? What exactly are you bringing to the table in a way that you can actually take this baton in a way that indeed will be effective and promising? Yeah,
there are lots young people can bring on board. It's not just about the youthfulness, beyond the youthfulness, the competence and ability to perform, to discharge that very responsibility counts. So let me say competence per se. So young people all over the world today, come with fresh ideas. It's about them coming on board to take on what has been achieved by our leaders. And besides, nobody will say power is never served a la carte. Power is never served a la carte. So it's, number one is the move, the intention, must be registered in the young people. The willingness must emanate from them. Do you get my point? Yeah. So the zeal, there must be conscious effort coming from young people, seeking to occupy this.
Well, there seems to be, as far as a lot of young people are concerned, that on the part of, the administration or government as a whole, there is a plan to leave out the youth, to exclude the youth, whether you're talking about, campaign expenses with the funds, the figures have gone up from 1 billion to, 15 billion.
Yeah.
And of course, what that's out there now. How do you think, the youth can fit in with all of this?
That was one of the things we even presented to in the last conference young people held. It was one of the things the APC youth leader presented as well. It's not just about giving us a bill which has been passed into law, not too young to run. There's also a more concerned aspect of not too expensive, not too poor to run. So, and this must be, something must be done about that, and you can't say to run for the office of the president, you're expected to have not spend above 5 billion, and from there taking to 15 billion.
So what's the question? Who is going to bail the car? What's going to be done about that?
No, it's all about engagement. It's all about engagement. So
engaging with the party or
with
electoral,
the
INEC or who, and
engaging with party leaders. Engagement with the party leaders, because there's also a proposition, one of the communique our leaders submitted not long ago. There's also a communication that party must try to consider certain percentage of financial involvement when it comes to people below a certain age when seeking for political office. So these are ways and manners through which young people mustn't be expected to spend more.
Okay, help us understand that particular point you just made now. What are these age limits, and in what areas exactly? What is the APC Youth Movement asking for?
Anyway, we made a clear demand. It's not that it's demand. I don't want to call it a demand because young people have been known of making demands. So we are engaging our leaders, in a peaceful manner.
What are you asking them?
They should consider, for example, for office of the chairman, which you understand, it can be any of our leaders. But let it be considered for someone not beyond the age of 65. Okay. Then the secretary, 50 years. Then every other deputy positions for people not above 45 years. Outside the youth leader, which ordinarily, of course, should be a young person. These are the factors that will promote agility, youthfulness, and competence in the running of the party.
Oscar, in one word, have you got? Are you getting anywhere? What kind of responses are you getting from them? In one word.
Cooperation, full cooperation.
Thank you so much.
Cooperation.
Oscar will be there. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you.